All right, everybody. Welcome back. God, been out for like the last week and a half. First, it's holidays. We had family in town, and then after that, or actually, while we had family in town, sort of caught, I don't know, like a cold or something. I've got this horrible cough. I just can't seem to kick it. So, actually, that's the reason why we had to skip on Tuesdays. But we'll try to get through this one. Still not 100%, but hopefully we get through this one without a hitch. Yeah, so what I want to do tonight is I want to get KAZU knocked out. I've worked on it here and there. Like it's to a point where it's mostly there. All the hard parts are done, and there's just a couple little things that we need to do to wrap it up. Like, there's some warm lighting on the shoulder guard that needs to be knocked in. Still need to get those patches on the back. Maybe a little, tweaks and polish items here and there, but for the most part, it's getting there. It's mostly done. So yeah, I figure we'll just dive in, get this thing knocked out. Take our time. We don't got to rush it. Like I said, I mean, there's not a whole lot left to do on it, but yeah, I figured it'd be fun to do this. Maybe talk through a couple little tricks I discovered haphazardly the other day. Yay for happy accidents. So, hey, hello. Yeah, there were some happy accidents along the way, but cool stuff nevertheless. So yeah, we'll get into this, and I'm sure I'll cover it as we go. So let's see. Probably just go ahead and get these patches done. Keep avoiding them, but should probably just do it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really liking how this turned out. It's one of those things that I kind of have to laugh because like this thing started as just a sketch I did over a lunch at work while I was bored, and I was like, yeah, I feel like sketching something. Yeah, I'll do a character. What am I gonna do? And I just kind of putzed around online looking for some inspiration, and then finally I was like, yeah, I'll do a GL character. At some point, I'm sure I'll make my way through the roster. It'd be kind of neat to do like a, I don't know, like a X-Men team up style version of it or something with all the characters. It'd be kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this just started as a kind of a bullshit sketch that I did, just to knock out something, get some practice in there, and then I got interested enough in it that I decided to finish it, and I'm glad I did because it turned out kind of cool. So I need to look up some reference really quick for these patches on his back. Let's see, KAZU Genlock concept art, maybe. Let's see here. Keep everybody entertained while I do this. Okay. Need something that's got, let's see, I guess. It's this one. Actually, I think this is what I was using as reference the first time. Oh, this is interesting. While I'm looking at it, here, we'll open this up in a new tab. Yeah, this is funny. This was sort of the original like version 1 lineup of the characters from Genlock before we overhauled them several times into what ended up in the show. There's some interesting stuff in here. Like KAZU, like the jacket design is kind of cool. I personally I prefer the biker direction that we took, but I think you could do something cool with this too, like the white, or even if it was on a different character, that could look neat. Sure, if you want to. All the memories. Yeah, there's some cool stuff in here that I think you could maybe like go back in and find all the cool little elements and then figure out a way that you could kind of merge them into the show designs. Kind of do like a version 2, at least of the show stuff anyway. Like for like a second season, you could do like an amped up, more kind of comic book armored version or something. It could be kind of neat. But anyway, cool. Okay, so let's. Ooh, I don't think this is gonna be high res enough. We can give it a go, I guess. See if it works. Probably not. All right, let me see if I can find something else really quick, because this is it's not the best. Which one? Which image? Oh, the poster. I had a fun time working on that. Ugh, I don't think we're gonna find anything better. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Lauren did that. Nice. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to make do with what we have on this. Oh, she's done more. Yeah, I remember seeing a couple closer to when we actually did the show, but I haven't really. I don't know that I've noticed anymore. I'll have to go check that out. Yeah, I think this is going to be about it. Well, let's see where this gets us. Aaron's site for the. Oh, right. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's see here. KAZU Genlock patches. Weren't those a piece of merch that you could get? Huh, nice. KAZU patch set, Rooster Teeth store. Nope. Ah, the skull one's not in there. All right, we're gonna do this real quick. Snip tool this bad boy. That one, this one's less. The big circular one is less important, but the one that's on the shoulder is definitely, we definitely need that. Yeah. All right. These are some glows. All right. Now I gotta figure out where in my layer stack I should place this. Great. What? I guess at the very least we can just make sure that it's placed correctly, and then we'll figure out where to put it. I'm either really good about being organized with my layers, or I'm really bad. And apparently I was really bad on this one. It's not the best warp job I've ever done, but it'll have to do for now. Maybe I should just place this over the ink. That works. Enough. Done so. There it is. Okay. Okay, so we got that one in there. Now I need to get that skull one. Ugh. Yeah, this is where we're going to have a problem. I wonder if they maybe... Did they have, like, different... Ooh! Aha! What is my favorite comic book ever and does it inspire my art style? Oh, so I don't know if I have just one. I mean, if I had to summarize what what were those comic books that were the most influential? God, it's kind of hard to really pick one. I mean, like, there's a few. I mean, I grew up on X-Men, so a lot of Joe Madureira stuff, a lot of Jim Lee stuff. Well, definitely one title that was really, really inspirational to me was Spawn, because when I stumbled upon that book, like, I'd never seen anything that was that gritty and I don't know, like, there was something that just felt really adult about it. I mean, it granted, it is just objectively more adult than something like X-Men or something, or more dark, I should say. But yeah, when I found that, you know, I was in a gas station with a buddy of mine, and I think I was in middle school. Yeah, I want to say I was like in 8th grade or something. We, you know, went to this local gas station, and I was looking around at the comics, and I saw it. I think it was like issue like 64 or 65 or something like that. And it was, you know, good old Greg Capullo doing what he does. Just like this super, super detailed, super gritty, just super, super moody feel of it. And like, I was so used to the traditional kind of superhero, like, even if it's detailed, it's very heroic. Like, everything is super heroic. And this was just dark and kind of scary. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I remember I bought it, and I'm pretty sure I like snuck it home, because I was like, oh my God, my parents are, oh, that's what it was. I was nervous because the issue had Spawn on the front cover, and he was wearing like an armored Marine outfit that he had sort of copied from something from a soldier he saw. So it was like camouflage. So he had grown it over himself, and all the soldiers had their unit number on their on the foreheads of their helmets or whatever. And his, because it was Spawn, it was like 666 on it was the number. And it was like, it was on the front cover, and I just remember thinking, like, oh my God, if my mom saw this, she would freak out. So I think I like hid it under my shirt or something stupid. But yeah, like, ever since I ran into that, it was like, I was totally taken with the art style. So anyways, that was, you know, very, very influential to me. So yeah, I mean, stuff like that, you know, Joe Madureira, you know, I was a huge, huge fan of Battle Chasers when that came out. Yeah, I mean, just sort of a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know that I have just one book in particular that's my favorite or was the most influential. Like, I sort of have a handful of different books where I found certain things, you know, inspirational, and the big thing too is, like, I discovered them at different times, and I don't know if it was just, you know, right place at the right time or whatever it was. But it was like I just ran into these things, and they were really important to me in terms of just formative years of being interested in art and kind of developing a style, or discovering what it is that interests you. So I don't know. That's kind of a long-winded answer, but yeah, unfortunately, like I know some people where it's like they've got that one thing, and it's like, hey, I can nail it right down. That was my favorite. That helped me the most. But yeah, with me, it's just it's more of a big kind of collection of things, things that were important to me at different times. So. All right, let's. Oh, jeez, that's small. Well, this should be interesting. We're gonna rotate that a little bit. Some of this is gonna be a cheat too. I don't expect this to be one for one, but as long as it feels right-ish. Okay, so it's roughly, what is that, like 3/5 the width of his back, maybe? Okay, so that might be way too big. Maybe something a little bit more like that. It's probably not too dissimilar from what we had already, but that's okay. That is okay. Yeah, that works. Something like that. Might be able to pull this up just a little bit more. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a fake, but that's fine. Pull this one down. 48. Let's try that. Keep it consistent. Make our lives a little easier. And then do a little mask. Yeah. What are your like a collection of inspiration? Like what are a couple of your top inspirations? Like style, the genre, the content. Oh, a comic called Meridian. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Is that a 90s book or early 2000s book? Probably like an early 2000s book. What else has he got? He's got a little head on there. Ah. Cool. Yeah, I feel like I've either heard of this before or maybe I've seen it on the shelf at some point. I can't place where or when, but yeah, it seems to ring a bit of a bell. We can learn how to do hair. I don't know. I mean, like, the hair I've seen you do ends up being a little more kind of flowy and has a little more energy in it. It reminds me of what was his name? Like Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes, Joe Mad. Yeah. I'm gonna keep bugging you about doing a hair tutorial, by the way, until you finally do it. Okay. Might be out of luck with this one. Maybe we can just use the low res one, and then like we might be able to just run a filter on it. That might be enough. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's try it. No, not that. Ian McCaig. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he's... I've got his art book sitting around somewhere. I think his book was called Shadowline. Fantastic book. I'm going to pull this down here. Make some room for this skull patch. Oh, there's no way this is going to work. I'll try it though. And I'm pretty sure that's like way too small, right? Oh God, yes. Man, I totally screwed up the positioning on that. Yeah, it's all right, whatever. Your comic started as a X-Men fanfic. Wait, was it an X-Men fanfic or an Xmas fanfic? Is Santa Claus a character in your comic book? I mean, it's okay if it was Xmas. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I like Xmas as much as the next person, so... Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed that you wanted to do Xmas fan fiction. I mean, Christmas is a wonderful time of year. Ay, ay, ay. Xmas fanfic. These elves, they had powers and... they could cause toys to magically pop into existence. Okay, so this... oh no, that doesn't work at all. Let's see if we can. Oh shit. Let's see if we can fix this with. See if we can be sneaky about it. Fix it with a filter. Probably not, but we'll see what happens. Maybe. Well, okay. All right. Well, you know what? Sure. Why not? And then, speaking of organizing, make a nice little folder there. Call it patches. And I am now realizing that I've got some area of the, let's see, areas of this back haven't been shaded yet. All right. Well, darn. Do I do mostly 3D concepting now? At work, yeah. Yeah. At work, most of what I do is because so primarily I do environment design, and 3D is just kind of the way to go in most cases. I mean, photo bashing also plays a huge role in it. But more often than not, there's some amount of 3D. So yeah, for the most part, I do 3D concepting. And that's a huge reason why on my own time or when I'm choosing projects that I want to get into, it's it usually ends up being something that's a little more 2D and kind of illustrative, like this. Because yeah, it's just I feel like I do so much 3D at work that like I don't want to lose, like I don't want my skills to get too rusty. So and there's also just a different kind of satisfaction you get doing like a hand done illustration like this. So yeah. If I was doing characters, would I use 3D as much? It depends. It depends. Like, is it supposed to be something that's photoreal? Is it something that I could knock out more quickly? Doing a 3D sculpt or whatever. It really just kind of depends. But I mean, for concept art, for games, or if it's for film or whatever, because more often than not there's a realistic style that's being pursued, I would usually just use 3D, lots of photo. Yeah. Yeah, typically drawing is faster than 3D. I think, you know, it just comes down to a couple different things, right? Like, and there's some concept artists who have great tutorials on just the philosophy of this, which is it's the right tool for the right job, right? Like, when is it appropriate to do 3D versus just drawing? You know, traditionally drawing is always going to be faster, but it's also dependent on what you're trying to get out of it. You know, if you need to do something that's highly designed, but you also need to have, 15 different views of it, doing it in 3D is probably going to be faster. If you need to do something that's a lot more precise, 3D might be faster. But if you want to do something that's more stylized, doing it in 2D might be faster. If you're just trying to crank out, really fast, just, multiple high level ideas, just, to get an impression out there, doing it in 2D, just, doing it by hand is probably faster. So it really does depend on, I think, what you're going for. And then also whatever the expectations are, stylistically. So if it's supposed to be more realistic versus if it's maybe more exaggerated, if it's more, if it's more animated looking, or, whatever. So you kind of have to balance all those elements to kind of figure out what is going to be the best method. But I think there's always going to be a place for either one. Do I think people will get left behind if they don't adapt 3D for everything? I don't. Again, though, I don't think 3D is not always the answer for everything. I think that's important to remember. It really does. It's contextual. It's, what is it you're trying to achieve? How quickly can you do it in? What are the expectations? What kind of a style are you working in? How quickly are you going to need to be able to iterate? Because, if I do this really cool drawing of KAZU and then the director says, but I need to see what this pose would look like if you saw him, if you rotated the camera 90 degrees, what would he look like? Now I have to redraw this whole thing. If you're super fast at sculpting, you might have been able to do a bust in ZBrush that sort of approximated the look, and now you can just, tumble the camera around and you can look at it, grab renders from whatever angle you want. So it really depends. Again, just a little bit of a outline on these things to make them fit with everything else just a little better. Right now they feel very photoshopped in, which they are. Now at least it feels a little more intentional. Okay, so the coat is mainly done. Okay, so the only thing that's outstanding is I need to finish. I need to get the warm lighting coming up onto the shoulder guard, and I need to splash some of it on the bottom of his collar. Okay. And then we need to fix this little square of missing color in the background. And then for the most part, it's done, I think. Oh, okay. Cool trick. So I figured this out the other night because I was trying to figure out a way to, let's see. So if you look at his jacket, so this is the way it looked with just colors. And there's no filters or anything applied to it. So this is my typical technique of just grads, using the lasso tool to kind of, select out areas, using, more grads, pulling in some airbrush, whatever. Excuse me. And I was trying to figure out if there was something you could do to just really quickly kind of, I don't know, like amp it up, like give it just a little bit more detail, but for free because I'm lazy. And, something that maybe would give you, it would maybe bolster your highlights or something like that. And maybe it would be a technique you could use on the hair as well. So I started fooling around in Photoshop. And what I did was I basically hid everything except for my color layer. So unhide your ink, unhide your patches, unhide all this other stuff, and then like copy all of that to a layer. And then what I did was I ran, if you go up to filter, and then you go to filter gallery, there's one called Chrome, and you can fool around with the settings. But basically, and I'll put this on normal, and it was at 60, so it's 100. So basically, this is what it's going to give you, right? And I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to make T1000 here. I'm not making like a liquid metal character, so that's not going to work. But if you pull the opacity back, what happened on color dodge, I think. And then so you play with the opacity, you put it on color dodge so that it's picking up all the color that you had there before. Now it gives it this this really interesting sort of it pulls a bunch of these random highlights out in certain places. It just makes it feel slightly more dimensional. I mean, granted, it's not going to work in all cases. Like, I had to create a mask on there so I could take most of it out of the face because it had this really weird effect on the face. But everywhere else, it looked kind of neat. Like, I love the way it looks up through his upper back and the collar, and then I also like some of these areas in the hair. Just where you get like these interesting little speck hits or what have you. It just gives it a little bit of, it's a little something extra. Again, it's not a one size fits all, but it's just a cool little technique that I happened to stumble upon, and I could see it having some interesting applications, but certainly not something that you would use everywhere. But anyway, just thought I'd share that. What were we talking about? Oh, okay. So we need to do that warm lighting. So let's pull up. Oops. What are we doing here? might be able to just use this. Let's see, where would this, if the light is coming from down this way, you might get it hitting heel. That in no way looks like, that would not look like that, but it's okay. Just start getting a little bit of something in there to hint at that light source. What? Ugh, I hate you. You know how they do those studies occasionally where they try to figure out, like, how many hours did you sleep in your entire life? Or, you know, how many minutes did you spend, you know, tying your shoes during your lifetime or something? They should do one for digital artists, which is like, how many minutes of your life was spent or were spent lasso tooling. I think it would be depressing. Okay. Yeah. So much of every digital artist's life is lasso tool. Any interest in getting a Cintiq? Oh, yeah, lots of interest. I just have to figure out a way to pay for it first. How many hours did you fail at lassoing? That would be a high number, unfortunately. It's a lasso tool closing the loop. Yeah. When it's like when it's almost like your Wacom pen tricks it into thinking that you just like double clicked or something, and you're like in the middle of this incredibly like complicated like selection, and then halfway through it it's like bump close. You're like, oh no! And like if it cuts across itself, so then it basically just invalidates everything that you just selected. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those are the moments when you wish Photoshop was a real person so that you could do it like physical harm. Photoshop or the Wacom pen, either one. At that point, it doesn't really matter. I don't know that you would get any more highlights on there. We might be done. Are we done? We might dampen this a bit. Okay, what am I missing? Am I missing anything on here? Let's see, we got his back done. I guess we could throw in like a bit of that glow on his shoulder. Are his eyes colored? Yeah. It's like his irises are a little darker, except for like where they're getting hit by whatever this light source is. I mean, I could always darken them down. They don't look colored in. Oh, that's not good. Well. Oh, you fucker. Do you have suggestions for something I should do on these eyes? Make sure I got all these elements in here. Alright, I think I got everything off heel. Don't need that. Don't need this. Close that out. Whoa, where'd they get this high-res image? What? Oops. Jesus. Ugh. What do they do to this? Let's grab something like that. There we go. I guess that works. Okay. I think at this point it might be useful to throw in some little highlights here and there. Looks like shit. Try to pull some of this reflected light back onto it, but I don't know, that's just making it read a little weird. More like that, maybe. What's the most challenging part of being an AD? You mean like an art director? Challenging part about being an art director. I think you have to be able to, you have to feel confident in your decision making. Because if you're not doing the proper research, or if you feel like, I don't know, like you just it's kind of hard to explain. It's like you have to be able to make decisions and believe that they're the right ones. And you have to be able to, like, you have to be able to sort of instill the confidence that you have in those decisions in others as well. So if you can't inspire other people to be on board with your ideas, then that's a problem. And sometimes it comes easy, and sometimes it really, really doesn't. It might be a little much. Well, I guess I could go in here and do some blooms and fix that background, and then I'm not really sure what else we really need to do. Finish it with color lookups. I don't think so. I might do it like an end tweak with some color lookups, but that's about it. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it really needs it, to be honest. See, we could pull in some type of a gradient, maybe. Oh, let's go fix this background while we're at it. See if content aware fixes it. It mostly finished it. Ugh. Who's next on the GL roster? I don't know. I'm kind of thinking like it would be neat to do a character that like no one would be doing. So like, what if you did like a Dr. Weller and Caliban, you know, like that could be cool. Oh, that's kind of neat. kind of interesting. It almost makes it seem like he's like standing in front of something that's on fire or something. He torched somebody. This was useless. Get rid of this. All right. Okay, we're saved. Sometimes, I have this really bad tendency to get way too excited when I think it's done. And then after, like, I save it and I put it away, suddenly I'm going, oh, there was that thing I wanted to fix. Like, okay, just take your time, figure it out. Might be a little too much over there. Needs to be on a comic cover. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, we could come in here and, speaking of color lookups, what are you doing? No. Okay, that's weird. How come I can't move it? Jesus. Okay. Put this on color. Throw on a film stock. Obviously, that ain't gonna fly. Dial it in just a little bit. Just to start popping the vibrancy of the color. Usually what the film stock does is it starts pushing the vibrance of the color and then pushes it warmer towards the top end of your tonal curve. Yeah, that's looking interesting. Let's see. Maybe we can play around with this a bit. See if we can come up with some happy accidents. What the fuck? We do like a vignette on it. I'm not sure that I like that, to be honest. Where's my pen? Where's my pen? Let me pull some of it in over here. But there's kind of like a vignetting happening there already. Yeah, I don't know if I want it everywhere. Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Maybe something like that. Yeah, definitely want to keep that there. So, here's what's funny about this composition is that, well, let me save this really quick and then I'll do it. I actually think that the composition reads better if you flip it. So, I think that looks fantastic. However, now all of oh god. Now all of his elements are backwards. So his what do you call a pauldron or whatever is on the wrong shoulder. His patches are in the wrong place. The yokai is backwards. I kind of just want to say F it and be like, the image just looks better like this. So who cares? Just do like the correct version and then do the compositionally correct version. I don't know. Is that a thing? Compositionally correct? I'm going to make it into a thing. Just flip the yokai. Yeah. I could do that. I could do that. God, I don't know. I feel like I could find some things that I could noodle on, but yeah, I don't know. In general, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I mean, it went way farther than I anticipated it would, or as I anticipated. I mean, it started with just a sketch, and then it became a lot more than that. Actually, you know what? I am gonna try to do something. Let me see if I can find something that almost looks like embers that are like floating through the air, because then we can make it look like he's standing in front of something that's on fire or whatever. That could look cool. In a way, it would kind of harken back to some scenes from like Sons of Anarchy when they're like, burning down somebody's headquarters and they're just standing in front of it, and it's all moody and all the, ash and everything's flying up in the air. Or they're burning a body or something. Really upbeat stuff. Let's see. Man, so I found a texture that would be perfect for a gig that I just finished. And knowing me, I probably didn't save it, and I'm not going to be able to remember what it was. Like, I swear it looked like sparks or something, like, flying around. Cool, but not what I want. Aha! Now that's more like it. Oh, there we go. Oh, was that it? Oh, that might have been it. It's kind of interesting. Sometimes you can get some really cool effects this way. Like happy little accidents. Not all the time, but sometimes. I don't know. Are we overdoing it at this point? Maybe leave it a little simpler. I want something to take the edge off all that black. Let's see. Bump the brights a little bit. I don't know, that's kind of cool. It keeps the focus on his head, which is nice. Although, probably get rid of, what was that? Oh. Oh, that was up here. I think that's looking pretty sweet. I don't know. What's the verdict? Anyone who's watching? Give me your comments. Give me your feedback. If there's anything that I'm really bad about missing stuff, if I've been staring at something for too long. So if you see something, be like, hey, this thing looks like shit. Why don't you fix it? Ship it. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, this has been really fun. I've enjoyed it. We're gonna do the real exciting part of this stream, which is going in and naming layers. Yay! I'll contrast that shit. What is this? Fire haze. Okay. Right. Dope. There we go. Put it right in the yokai. Or in the, not the yokai. The fish patch. Damn it. Right. Okay, so I know I'm going to think of something as soon as, like I said earlier, like as soon as I save this and put it away, close down the stream, I'm sure I'm going to realize there was something else that I wanted to do with this. But for right now, I'm thinking that's pretty solid. I think if I do anything else, it might be some tweaks, maybe, but I don't know. I think it's there. I think it's there. I might come back and do some stuff maybe at some point, but I think for now it's good to go. Well, I mean, hopefully it's been a worthwhile experience watching this thing come together. I've certainly had a lot of fun working on it. So yeah, next up, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be another GL character. Actually, it's probably not going to be another GL character. I think what I'm going to do next is the Skeletor piece that I pulled up in the last stream. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish that. Maybe finish that, or maybe work on something original. Not sure yet, but it'll be one of those two. Actually, the Skeletor piece I'm having a lot of fun with. So I'll probably start working on that, trying to get that finished. I started playing around with that a little bit the other day, actually. Hex. Yeah. Well, I want to be working on my original IP stuff. I do have to admit, though, that the Skeletor piece I'm having a lot of fun with. So I might, just so I don't have something that's sort of half finished just sitting around, I might just go ahead and get that knocked out, and then maybe, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm super jazzed about this piece. So, yeah, I might go ahead and just finish this out while I've got momentum. And then, yeah, move on to doing some character work for Hex Vendetta. Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably going to take us through, the rest of December. It's already, the 5th. So, yeah, I'm sure the rest of the month is going to go by super fast, as it does. But let's see. Got him. We've got this thing knocked out. Cool. So I think, we're at an hour and 45 minutes. I might go ahead and cut this stream short. I think if I go any longer, I'm going to be coughing like uncontrollably. I've been trying to hold it at bay as best as I can. So apologies for the couple of times I had, the random little coffee outbursts. But anyway, yeah. So I had a lot of fun doing this. Like I said, we'll probably do like some Skeletor or some original stuff next time. So definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, thanks for joining me while I work on this, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you next time.